living life bravely and boldly is not only hard, but it's also fucking scary because it doesn't mean that you're not afraid. You're still scared shitless, but you're doing what's right and you're not letting that fear impact you. And that's why it's hard.
Boom. Okay, we're already rolling. Yes, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked that you were able to do this. Welcome to Tallest Podcast on Earth. I'm here with Haleigh Washington. And I got to be honest, when I see you or like see you in the gym or just like think of you, this is what I think of. I just think of, like fucking yeah, dude. Like you get me so hyped every time I see you in the gym. And like we don't know each other that well, which is why I'm so stoked to be like doing this and getting to know you a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm sorry, I look like I'm sunburnt, but I just saunaed in my backyard and my face is all red and we're just gonna deal with it.
Hey, I think you look great. I honestly didn't even notice the pink cheeks. I thought that was just your natural flush. I'm also
Well,
excited. You asked me to be on this podcast, and I was like, "Oh, okay.
hell
I
yeah.
guess."
Well, I do want to make sure your camera is on, right? Because if it is on, you should be able to see that my cheeks are clearly red. That's fine. Okay, whatever. She's being nice. Okay, anyways, let's first of all address that. Yes, you are using your data right now. There's a potential for a Wi-Fi breakdown. This is the life
Oh
of
yeah.
an overseas player. We get it. But what's good? What are you doing?
Currently, we are in finals week of World Champs. We are still doing USA stuff right now. Like we're still at World Championships. This
I'd
has
like
been
to mark that the date is October 9th, 2022, and we are still doing USA stuff.
still doing USA. It's been the longest summer ever. But yeah, so we're just in finals week of World Champs. We got to a new location in Poland, which actually I had a question for you because you were on the World Champs roster for the dudes. And we just got to a new city. We just got to a new city, and this hotel that we're staying in is less than stellar, which is also a normal overseas thing, but it's like blood on the blankets, flies in the food, windows that don't work, chairs that are breaking under people when they sit down.
You know what? I got to be honest. You might want to check around you. Are you sure you're not in like an escape room or something? You're sure you're in a hotel?
It feels like we are in an escape room. That's what, like, it's a hot mess. But we're just at World Champs. This is the quarterfinal setup for the women. Apparently, the men had a much more glamorous hotel, so we're all PO'd. No, we're not
Okay,
PO'd.
well, if we're starting beef, dude, I don't remember. I got to just really take my memory back here. I do remember there was a time, was it last year? You guys had like sick hotels on the beach. I think it was for VNL in Rimini. Were you in Rimini?
No. Yeah, that was pretty sick.
So let's talk about it then, you know? That's the compromise a little bit.
Hey, man, I mean, we just won the tournament 3 times in a row. We were the first place seed going in the tournament. They were like, hey, let's accommodate for what you guys have worked very hard to earn. Not that you guys haven't worked hard. I'm not trying to start beef between the men's team and the women's team. I'm just saying this is FIVB is usually an organization I'm really stoked to play for and to be in these tournaments for. And I was just disappointed. I'm not trying to start beef. It's all love between me and the men's team.
There's no doubt that the men's side had something to do with, yes, have we been cultivating flies in little traps for the last years just for this moment? Yes. Have we been sourcing, blood from, I don't know, little children? Probably not. Okay.
No, probably. I would hope that one.
Probably not. No. Probably animals. It's probably animal blood, honestly. There's a lot of
it's definitely a cow. It's bovine for sure.
There's a lot of nature out in Poland. I'll tell you what. If there's one thing I know just from playing here for the last year, there's a lot of nature. And baby, I'm in the nature right now. I'm right next to a lake. I told you I got a sauna in the backyard. I got woods everywhere. But in terms of hotel situation, that's actually kind of crazy because I feel like for the most part, hotels have been pretty decent out here. Wait, what city are you in?
I can't pronounce it.
Well, I can't pronounce it either, so go ahead.
Dude, I don't even know. I haven't even bothered looking up what city we are. I don't know where we are. We just left.
Dude.
Oh, God. We just left Whoosh, which was really nice. That was pretty cool. And I know that we drove 2.5 hours, and now we're in a new city. And I love Poland. I've loved our stays. Like, I think the nature, you're right, the nature is gorgeous. I just was shocked. Like, I was like, wow, this is very out of character. And so, like, I'm not just disappointed, I guess. Like, I was just like, this is very out of context for the
No,
FIVB.
straight up, that's a bummer. And
Yeah.
like,
Hella
no, it is.
bummer, dude.
Dude, I will never forget. I played in France 2 years ago when I played in Cannes, and it was like the practical joke that we were constantly staying in shitty hotels, like constantly.
That happened. Yeah.
Yo, if you're gonna put me in a shitty hotel, you better hope that Wi-Fi is rip roaring. You know, that Wi-Fi
That's
better be
the
rip
thing.
roaring.
It's like the Wi-Fi being bad is just the cherry on top. Like, that is just what kills me.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Hey man, it's all good. And it doesn't, like, we can gripe and be upset about it as much as we want, but at some point you just got to be like, okay, these are the cards we've been dealt, and we still have a
Totally disagree.
quarterfinals that we want to win. So
I got totally
He's like,
disagree.
"Fuck
Okay.
no." Oh, sorry.
I would say no. You could be yourself on this podcast. I'll tell you what. All right, this is for all kids of all ages and people and parents and anything. You know, that's just be you. But we'll move forward. We'll move forward.
Yeah,
And
I didn't mean
we
to
were
start off the podcast on such a negative note. I didn't
No,
mean
no,
to be
no.
rude.
Are you kidding me? There's almost nothing more I love than talking shit on what's going on with the people around me. It's the most fun thing. And for as much as we live in this, like, let's be positive, and I love that too. We're gonna get into some of that stuff. I love that. I'm also like, dude, talking shit is so much fun.
Dude, I love a good bitch session. That's
Right?
like, it's so cathartic. It feels so right. It's awesome. Oh man, am I in the way? Some
And
gentleman just got off the elevator.
you know what? And I'll tell you one thing too that people don't talk about. It brings people together. Talking
It-
shit brings people together.
It's a good bonding. If you ever want to have a good team, put them in a really shitty place and let them bond over it.
Or put them in
Coaching
the
101.
escape room Poland. Okay. Okay.
Oh man.
So, this is actually the first episode. I spoke with my producer a little bit. We came up with some little questions. So randomly I'll be like, I got some things planned. I feel like for the most part, I just kind of like fly off to see my pants, which is what most of this will be. But I got some thoughts too. First thing, I just did like a small bit of digging. And I just want to say this. What's up with girls and astrological signs? Straight up,
astrology.
dude. Tell me. Oh my God, I want to know.
It's just really nice to be able to label someone and then profile them and have them fit into a small comprehensive box and then use it as an excuse for why we accept red flags. He's talking to his ex every time that we go out to dinner. He's such a Pisces. That's so him.
That's me.
Oh, you're a Pisces?
That is Pisces, dude.
Hilarious. Pisces. I'm a Virgo, and Pisces is the opposite of the horoscope wheel for me. So I have a really tough time with Pisces people. Their energies don't always align with mine.
That's pretty crazy because I would say we both got that positive energy. We're both rip roaring.
I was about to say, but you might be an exception. You could be an exception.
You know what? We're gonna find out by the end of this thing. I'll tell you that. But honestly, like, what's like help me understand? I'm just like some dumb blonde.
I can't speak for all women, but I can speak for myself. I think it's
speak
kind
for
of
all
fun.
of them. Speak for all of them.
You're right. Let
Please.
me on behalf of all women who have ever lived and will live, I'm gonna say, no, but I just think astrology, like, for me, it goes back to like my kind of background in witchcraft and stuff. And so there's a connection to as above, so below. There's giant planetary bodies in the sky that obviously are affected by gravity because they stick to the, so like there's some science and there's some like witchcraft stuff behind it that I think can sometimes dictate behaviors. Sometimes, but it's also not, I'm not one of those people that's like, hello, you're 100% a certain way because you're a Virgo or a Cancer. Although Kelsey Robinson is the most Cancer I've ever met in my life.
I'm an Aries Cancer.
She's an astrological bombshell, dude. Guest star Kelly Robinson. What's up? I just called you Kelly. I just called you Kelly Robinson, dude. Oh,
that's embarrassing.
You got my last name wrong. You got my first name wrong.
You're right, dude. It's Kelsey Cook. Deal with it.
All right, I'm on a professional podcast. Could you please go away? Sorry. So rude.
No, Kelsey's actually would be a great person to answer that question. Bring her back. Kelsey, bring her back really quick. Really quick, because we need to understand. Kelsey, my thought was just, what's up with girls and astrological signs?
I feel like that's
a little bit rude.
It's not rude. It's not rude. I want to know. No, it's not rude. It's not rude. I
Why
didn't
is
say
it
there was
just
anything wrong
girls?
with it.
There's men who like astrological
Oh my
things.
God, please don't do this to me, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, stereotypically speaking, what's up with it? I haven't posted anything about being a Pisces, and both of you just posted something about your signs.
Pisces.
So I just want to know. I just want to
Wait,
know.
I've never posted. Oh, do we post about our signs a lot?
You said something about a vertigo. Yes, you did. See, you don't even know you're doing it. You don't even know.
That's my
you're doing
sign.
it.
I'm a vertigo. Jesus Christ.
I
You
feel
got
like
vertigo.
You're very Pisces for asking that question. So,
Dude,
Lauren's
you know what? On this podcast, there's no such thing as a bad question. I'm just trying to learn. All right, that's it.
Kelsey
There's no
is
judgment.
electing to not answer your stereotypical sexist
Huge
male
surprise,
question.
dude. Huge surprise. All
Huge
right, whatever.
surprise. Kelsey, the Aries Cancer is choosing violence. I know, crazy.
Also, we were gonna record this yesterday, and we didn't record it yesterday because you guys won, and you're into the quarterfinals now.
Yes.
Sick.
Yeah, I'm
I haven't-
stoked.
Yeah, you must be so hyped.
I mean, we're just excited because Thailand was put up a great match. So we were stoked that we beat Thailand, who was playing a phenomenal game. And then we're stoked that we put ourselves in a position to be able to get to the quarterfinals because we're here to hopefully bring home some hardware, and we're excited about it.
There's a couple things I think of. Gosh, I'm gonna do my best to keep things as organized as possible because there's just so many thoughts I have. The first thing I wanted to know from you is like who are like the big kahunas when it comes to women's volleyball? Obviously, you guys crush. But like as someone who doesn't, because here's my reality: is like I don't watch a lot of women's volleyball. Okay, and I can imagine you're not watching a ton of men's volleyball.
I don't know. I think there's a lot more overlap. A lot of women really admire the men's game, and we watch a lot of men's volleyball. You can learn a lot from the men's game. Like you guys are very physical players. You guys are very aggressive in how you block. Like a lot, like the tight, quick bick that you guys were running for a good long while. We were like, we should start doing that, and so we brought it. The triple blocking on both pins. You guys started doing that. We were like, that's really smart. We should start doing that. So we watch and we like to learn and become more aggressive, not to completely like shut you down or whatever.
No, that's cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm so interested.
Yeah. We like to learn from you guys. Have an aggressive game and we respect your guys' play. And so we like to watch and be supportive. Oh, sorry. Hang on. More people are walking by. So unprofessional.
No, that's super unprofessional and we'll let it slide.
Just this once.
I do want to know then, like, what do you think that men can learn from watching the women's game?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think men can learn from the women's game. I think women have a lot of smart, cheeky plays. I think we're very tactical defensively. Like we get a lot of good digs. And I mean, the men's game is evolving and starting to become, sorry guys, I'm in the middle of a podcast here. I apologize. The men's game is starting to become, is evolving because you're seeing a lot more defense. And I think you can watch the women's game and learn defensive strategies. Not to say that you guys don't do that already, but I think that's something that you guys can learn more of. But I could be wrong. Again, this is not my area of expertise.
Yo, we're all wrong and we're all right. Like, who fucking cares, dude? I'm just curious, because like, yeah, I don't know. I always think, I think even when like teaching it, like what is like the big difference between the men's and the women's game, and obviously like for the most part, like men are very physical. Like you said, they're doing aggressive blocking moves. But then again, like, there's so many rallies that you see in women's volleyball that like duration of plays is so much longer. Like you need so much more endurance, So I that's why I was just curious. Like, what are things that you think like men can pick up on? It sounds like defense is one of those.
Yeah, just like defense. And I think also, and you're seeing this in like the high elite levels, like national team level, like tooling the block, that is so big. And so many men's players are like really learning how to do that so well. But yeah, I just think like tooling the block is something that the women's game does really well. And I think the men's game also is getting better at doing it well from all spots on the court. But again, I could be completely wrong. Maybe the men's game has been on that shit for a while.
I'll tell you what, you know what I see? I see that women run way more slides than men. Why is that?
I think it's because men don't need to be running the slide because they're already so physical. Like you guys are putting balls away, but women, like when we run the slide, like I know when I'm running off of 1 foot because I'm pumping my arms in a different way, I personally feel that I can jump higher and I can torque more of my body just because of the slide, like the way that the slide approach works. So I put more power behind it, more power within
Also,
reason.
dude,
And I don't think
chill.
men need
You
that.
bang, yo. You bang. Kelsey bangs. You guys have so many
Sometimes.
players who like fucking hit the ball hard. So
We have some people
enough
that
with
hit the
this.
ball.
Like,
And,
it's not completely this. We don't need to talk about being equal. It's like you guys bang, dude.
yeah, like
Come
there are
on.
some girls on this team that hit, like Chiaka and Danielle Catino. Like Danielle yesterday against Thailand had a swing. I came on the court. I was like, audibly, I was like, that swing may be wet, dog. That was a great swing. I was like, that shit had me moist.
I mean,
that was
why do you think they got towels on the bench? We all know what they're for, you know.
Oh god. But yeah, I just also don't think, like, with the physicality and the speed of men's blocking, like, it doesn't really make sense to run the slide. Also, the opposites. Like, you guys have hang and bang and opposites, and usually when you run the slide, it's taking your opposite out of the offense.
Right.
So it's better to keep the opposite just on their flight trajectory, on the D, on the C, whatever it is, and utilize that player.
Interesting. Is that your favorite route? Is running slide?
Yeah, I like hitting off of 1 foot. I definitely prefer it to hitting in front. Like I like a good A, like right, like a tight, quick right behind the setter off of 1 foot.
Like a back one. We have different names
Yeah.
for these.
Yeah, dude. Isn't that crazy?
Hey, for real, I'm trying to learn as much about women's volleyball as I can from you right now today. Okay, I'm at peak interest. I really, really want to learn because I didn't know that. I didn't know you call it an A. We call an A, like, God, no one ever sets this, but an A is like back row outside attack.
Yeah, we have that. We call that a 30. We call that a 30.
Yeah, wild. Okay, let's break this down. Wait. So what's your gap? What do you call a gap?
A gap is a gap. A gap is a
gap
gap.
is a gap.
Unless
We're
you're
1 for 1.
overseas, then it's a sete. If it's overseas,
Got
then
you.
it's a set.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Gap
yeah.
is a gap. 1 is a 1.
1 is a 1.
Push is a push.
Push is a push. All right. So
Chi,
in front,
I'm with you, Chi. Hey, let's get overseas on him right now.
Oh yeah,
Chi,
Chi.
double Chi. You got a double Chi?
We don't have double Chi. We only have a single Chi.
Why don't you run double Chis?
I don't even know what a double Chi is, dog.
It's just a double push. It's double the distance.
Double Chi'd up on a Thursday afternoon.
No, no double push.
No double push in our game.
Interesting.
I just don't think I think there are very few players in the women's game that have the physicality to jump like that, to get that broad jump like that. I think there are some players, but
more.
I'm just saying I think there are some players,
I appreciate that.
Not all players.
Yeah, well, here's what I think.
I know Chiaka can do that.
For sure. Like, okay, we started running like pop and float. Do you know anything about, like, we start with the USA men's team, we run something called a pop and a float, which is basically coming in at like 45 degrees and then either jumping towards the setter, which would be floating, or jumping in the same spot, if not drifting a little back, which would be popping. That's been super fun to play around with. And I'm so curious, like, where do you think that the women's game offensively, let's talk just in the middle, is evolving?
In the middle, I think we're seeing that in the women's game out of the middle, it's evolving. It's becoming a lot faster. Like there's a lot more zero tempo. It's less hanging the ball and then going up and reaching the ball. And it's very fast. The middle game is becoming a lot faster. We definitely don't pop and float, though. Robert Landy Simone, that he plays at Peru. That guy is so good at that ball. That guy is nuts, man. But we're just running, and I think we're opening up more routes. Like now we have like a gap, we have a tight quick, we have an A, we have a B, we have a slide. So
What's what's a B?
A B is between a back one and a slide. So it's like right in right in the middle. And so you can either plant. What? You can either plant at the A spot and drift into it, kind of like a double Chi thing, or you can act like you're running a slide and then cut your route short and like cut in and hit in the gap. Because a lot of pin blockers will mirror the slide. Yeah. And so they move out to get the slide, and then you just hang it short inside and beat them on their mirror move.
Yo, that's sick, actually.
I love a B, dude. I love a good B.
You know what? You know who's really was good at that is Bruno and Lucas. Lucas is a middle who's been around for a long time. They ran a ton of that, like, off the net.
I told you I know the men's game.
No, it's tight. Yeah. That's so tight. Yeah,
Lucas
they run
is
that. Dude, he is a mean machine, dude, for sure. Like, offensively, he's just nuts, and he's got the arm of like a fucking wet noodle, and he just whops that thing around all the time. It's insane. He's nuts. But they run that. They're the like few people I've seen that like have consistently run that kind of like back three, a B, I guess. That's
yeah.
sick.
That's so
tight.
cool. I actually had the chance to talk to Lucas. Penn State, we did that like foreign trip that like colleges do. And we went to Brazil and we were at the Brazilian training center. And we were getting cafeteria, lunch, whatever. And Lucas was there. And my coach was like, you need to go talk to that man because he's the best middle blocker in the world. You need to go get some advice from him. So I was like, okay. So I came over with my lunch tray and I sat down next to him. And I was like, you don't know me, but I know who you are. Do you have any advice for middle blockers? And he was like, just learn how to read. He's like, reading is going to be your best ally. He said this in not so many words, obviously. He was like, learn to read. It's like the best skill you can have as a middle. And I was so underwhelmed because I was hoping he was going to say something super badass and cool, like have a fast arm or like jump really high. No, it was just learn to read the game, man. It was amazing.
Wow. First of all, bold move by you, just going up and asking a question like that. I love that. That absolutely fits. Do you think you were like that your whole life, or like in your volleyball career, were you always like fearless to ask how to get better?
I think that's something that I definitely prided myself on. I was like you in this conversation, wanting to be a learner. I've always been a very eager learner. Like I was really cool especially at a young age, with making lots of mistakes and being really uncomfortable and looking really stupid, because I knew that the way that I was playing volleyball was not the most efficient way to play volleyball. So I would watch older girls and see what they did and then try to copy them. I would ask questions. I'd be the kid at the camp that would like raise their hand, get the question wrong, but then this sounds crazy, the public embarrassment of getting it wrong and then hearing the answer right solidified that answer in my brain eternally. So
don't they say your best memories come through like trauma? You know, like
definitely.
And like obviously there's like major trauma and like minor trauma. Not that you look back on it and think it's a traumatic experience, but who knows, dude? At 7, being wrong could be traumatic, you know?
Sometimes, man. Sometimes it can be embarrassing.
Yeah,
Think about things that haunted you for years.
Were you always a middle?
I have always been a middle blocker, which is something I deeply regret. I started playing volleyball when I was 12. I hate it here.
Why do you regret it?
Because I just wish, like, you know how 15 years ago, the way that they coached volleyball was you're tall, you're gangly, you're not going to be good at this, you're not going to be good at this, you're not going to be good at this, so you're this. It was very fixed mindset based. So I never really learned how to pass properly. I never really learned how to set properly because they were like, you don't need those skills, you're a middle. And I think being labeled as a middle from the start of my career was a real hindrance because people were like, you don't need to learn how to topspin serve or how to serve aggressively. You're a middle. The libero will serve for you. But like on the international side of things, in the international game, you need to have those basic skills. And if you want to be an elite player, you need to have those basic skills. And that's why I think like the American centric style of volleyball in our youth volleyball is so dangerous because it immediately limits our ability to see a future playing overseas, because we're not building international players. We're just trying to build volleyball players for certain positions. It's so wrong.
For sure. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Now you got me all fucking riled up. Dude, I'm so happy you said that. Right. I mean, it's true. Well, first of all, we're middles. Middles always, God, dude, honestly, middles are always my favorite players on the team. There's something special about us, the way that our upbringings, you know, we got this special connection. So I feel you. And at the same time, I could not agree more. I hate seeing kids specialize at like 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, it's a
even
problem.
Like, it's such a problem. And even like, so I started doing one-on-one mentorship, and I'm building this like middle blocker academy, which we should talk later. I got some cool ideas. But I'm like trying to give some resources, and even some kids that I work with, I'm like, dude, all they want to do is work on these like things that are so specific to being a middle. And I'm like, yes, you need to know your job and you have to be proficient in it. But the cheat code for any kid trying to get better at any position is to fucking play every position and play volleyball all the time. It's not that complicated. Go play on the beach, go play in the sand. I say it all the time. Go play community open gyms. Like, figure out a way to just play as much as you can. And it makes me so sad. You see it especially with like setters who they're just setters since they're like 12 years old, or middle since you're 12. It's just like, it's such a bummer.
Yeah. And it limits your ability to really grow as an athlete. Like you just get so pigeonholed. And it also, like, mentally, it puts this fix this toxic fixed mindset into your brain of I am only this, I will only ever be this, instead of this growth mindset of, okay, right now I'm here and I can be here. I just need to be uncomfortable and grow in that discomfort. Like you have to have that mindset. There has to be a switch flip. You know what I mean?
Switch flip. Hell yeah, I know what you mean. That's
Shut
Tony
up,
Hawk
man.
right
I
there,
couldn't
baby.
figure out the words.
No, I feel you. That's straight from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, dude. I feel that. No,
this is the worst podcast. I'm so sorry.
It's not, dude. They're all the worst. Don't worry.
Oh, incredible. All right.
Kind of random question. I was curious, like, I don't want to get off the subject again of women's volleyball. I'm sorry. This isn't all going to be about volleyball. I just got, like, there's just a few things I want to know, you know, and I'm talking with, you know, one of the ladies' greatest, dude. I got to ask.
Hey, man, I'm here. I love the conversation.
Dude, do women talk shit?
Through the net or behind each other's backs? Because yes, to both. Sips tea.
Just straight up water in a team mug because I have no glasses. Okay. Anyways.
You know, like women are women. We're crazy, and we'll talk a lot of shit, and it's mostly behind people's backs. I think that's when you find more toxic teams. Is when problems aren't being addressed out in the open. People are just going to their little cliques and talking shit, and nothing ever gets resolved. So yeah, that happens. I would argue that the past 2 years, actually pretty much my entire tenure on the national team, I haven't really dealt a lot with that. There have been like regular things like, oh, so-and-so is annoying me on this trip because they breathe really loud when they sleep, or so-and-so is chomping their food and it's a pain, but nothing so bad.
That all sucks.
It all sucks.
I fucking hate all that already, but continue.
But like the nice thing is, like, at least for me, like I'm a very confrontational person. So like if someone's chomping their food at the table, I'll be like, hey, stop. And then we just address it and we work it out and it's fine. And then as far as shit talking goes, like
wait, really quick.
Oh,
let's you're right. I should have been more specific, but I like that there's two. There's shit talking behind people's backs, and then there's shit talking like in a game across the net. So let's go over the first one that you talked about, which was like, I don't want to call it cliquey, but like I can imagine, because we have it on the men's side too. You know, it gets a little cliquey, especially like foreign players and the local players, and like talking shit normally about a coach or this guy or whatever. Do you find a lot, maybe not even with the national team, but like more so maybe when you're overseas? Obviously, the national team is just a bunch of angels that all play together and love each other. But
yeah, we're totally flawless. We never talk shit about each other. We're best friends. Overseas. Definitely 1000% overseas. So like people will talk shit in the locker room. Like we'll just be sitting there and I know they're talking shit about this player down over here. And then I'll see that player like look over and know they're talking shit. And then she'll start talking shit with her person that she's it's a vicious cycle.
Okay, then let's talk about shit talking during games, because that's what I'm curious about. Like on the men's side, you get a lot of like certain players specifically who do a lot of extra long stares. Like that kind of stuff that can lead to some shit talking. Like certain players, you just know, like they're looking for it, like almost don't feed them, or like if you're balling and whatever. But I'm curious on your end, like internationally or even overseas, like is that pretty common or not really?
I have experienced zero shit talking through the net, which I was really disappointed with, because I thought pro volleyball was going to be like a little bit more grittier and a little bit more shit talky, but really we're all friends. It's so fucking lame. We all just get along, and because like a lot of us have played on the same team and we know each other, like we all just kind of get along, which is so much less exciting. Like no shit talking. Occasionally you will have some people, like you can feel tension, like one girl blocks one girl and then another girl blocks another girl and they're screaming, and then you can feel like, oh, they're about to get into it. And then there's like a little bit of like fuck yous. Like I'm a big fuck you person. If I get a block, I'm usually yelling fuck you.
Wow.
And then if someone else gets a block, then there's like, it gets competitive, but that's about as far as it goes. And I don't yell fuck you to their face. I turn around and yell to the camera so my mom at home can see me yell fuck you out loud.
I love that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow. Fuck you's your go-to, huh?
Fuck you is usually my go-to if I get like a good big block. Or I will also say, get that shit out of here. I say that a lot when I'm blocked.
Get that shit out of here is a good one. Yeah, that's
I do
the
chest bang. I'm like, get that shit out of here. Yeah, I'm aggressive. I'm
I
aggressive.
first of all, I fucking love that. I love that so much. I think not enough people use "fuck you." It's so strong and it rings the ears when you hear like a
So
very
good.
like deep in your like cave woman bones. You're just like
Mhm.
fuck you. That's tight.
A
Um,
visceral, just core shaking fuck you. Oh yeah, chef's
okay,
kiss, man.
you even said like some chest bumping, whatever. Here's what I want to know too is difference from the men's and the women's in terms of cheering. Like, yeah, women cheer, dude. You already know. I mean, women cheer, and men. It's so different, and that's why I want to break it down. I want to break down like women's cheering, and here's what I want to do. I would love to know from you, like, what is it with like such amazing, extensive cheers? First of all, I'd like it. I'd like so much for volleyball to start entering the world of like NFLs, like when they like score a touchdown or something, and there's like little breakdowns. Like that would be
A
cool if we
little
started
Sally.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, like a intense Sally. Um, and then the other side of it, I would love to know is like, what do you think the big difference is from girls volleyball to like women's volleyball when it comes to like cheerability?
Cheerability. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So my quick specifying question, do we mean cheers like when we're on the court doing shit and we're cheering and yelling, or do you mean like sometimes there's like people on the bench that have cheers? We're talking about on
All
the
of that.
court.
No, I
Oh,
want all
all
of
of
it.
it. We're talking
Yeah,
about
break me down.
all of it.
Break it down, dude. Yeah,
Break it down. All right. You just pick such big things to break down. Damn.
they're big. I mean,
Okay.
take it where you want.
Hey, take your lair. Honor your edge. Take your lair. Um, okay. So cheering on the court. Let's start there. I think men and women cheer equally on the courts. Like
Fair
when
enough.
like when TJ
For
DeFalco,
sure.
I don't know, when he does something good, like he'll come down and he'll be like, "Rah!" and all the
Hundred
guys are like,
percent.
"Rah!"
100%.
So like, and like when like Danielle, like D was just like she would bounce a fucking ball and she'll come down and she's like, "Ah!" and we're all yelling. I will admit though, in women's volleyball, we do a lot of ass slapping. We slap a lot of ass in
Are
women's
you
volleyball.
kidding
I
me?
don't know.
I just got photos from the game we had yesterday. I got a photo of my hand fully cupping my teammate's butt.
Delightful.
So
Okay, so
try to
we're good.
out ass slap me.
Try out ass
I
slap
dare
us.
you.
Not today. No, but I would argue like we definitely cheer at the same way. We don't have coordinated cheers. I think that's a lot. Like I think you in younger club girls volleyball, you'll find coordinated cheers. Like when someone gets an ace or a block, like they all jump in their little huddle and they're like, ace, ace, baby. And it sounds really dumb and stupid because it is really dumb and stupid. But I think the cool thing about having cheers when you're younger is one, team camaraderie. Like you're all excited to do these fun cheers that you guys came up with. And like you finally get to do them in front of your parents and your friends, and you think you're all fresh and it's so cute. I don't even know if girls do that anymore, but that's what my club girls did. And then also in lower level girls volleyball versus women's volleyball, you're not seeing as many crushing swings, monster blocks. So there's really not, you don't get that guttural feeling of wanting to yell because they don't know what that tastes like yet. Like when you crush a ball, there's something animal inside of you that you're just like, you gotta let it out. But when you're like playing in your early years and you hit a ball and it happens to fall on the other side because you're all learning volleyball still, there's really not much animal being let out. And so you do your little coordinated cheer and it's still celebrating the point. That's my theory. Does that make any
Dude,
sense?
100%. And you know what? It actually just warmed my heart a little bit and gave me a new perspective because I think it's one thing, I'll speak on the men's side at least. Like, it's one thing I see now where like guy gets like a whatever kill and he's like, "Ah," and I'm just like, dude, what a fucking loser, dude. Like, what is this guy?
Tool bag.
Dude, what a dork. Like, to me, honestly, when I see like people like overexciting themselves as a pro, I'm just like, dork. And but now it makes me think like even when I see kids, sometimes I'm just like, dude, like, and I don't want to sound like I'm a hater on the hype. I love the hype, I love the excitement, I love that. But at a professional level, that we're talking about like the best in the world international, it's just not cool. It's not cool to be like overly exaggerated, at least on the men's side, in my opinion. Like, because what
Sure.
I think is like, you bounce the shit out of a ball. It's like, yeah, that's what I fucking do. I bounce the shit out of balls.
The silence speaks for itself.
Yes.
I love that perspective. I've never thought about it like that because I am the obnoxious asshole. especially if my teammate does something. Like my favorite thing as a middle is when you run like a tight quick or an A and the other middle pops and they're stuck with you and then your pins one-on-one. So you jump, their middle pops. You're thinking in your head, you fucking idiot. Why are you popping with me? I don't have the ball. And then your outside gets set and then your outside puts the ball away. That shit right there makes me lose my fucking mind. I'm like, what? Because I did my job. My outside did her job. We played it. We did the team. We teamed it.
Because you know what? When she jumps up there with her little hands to block you, what's really happening is she jumps up like this and she might as well be holding a sign that says
3 point.
3 point. And more than that, she jumps up and she's got a little badge and it says, I respect you. That's what happens every time. Every time she jumps up and you don't get set, she's like, but Haleigh, I respect you.
And I'm just thinking, you're a dumbass. That's
Yo,
me.
I know. I feel that.
I'm such a
That's
jerk.
the best. That's the best. And I was going to say something before, but yo, I got a ring light behind me and I'm like, it's like goes through my eye. Yeah, for real. It's like deep into my soul. But okay. That's really interesting. You know, and
I like that. I like your perspective on cheering though.
No, but I like yours. Honestly, I like yours too, because sometimes I think it's so easy to then live in this world of like, yeah, it's like, it's just cool. It's like, it's just what I do. And like, you know, and then there's times too where I'm like, dude, also like, who the fuck do I think I am? Like, be a kid, enjoy yourself, like love that moment, you know?
And I think that's the biggest thing is like, we can all have different. This is hey Poulter. This is sometime when I'm a podcast.
Oh shit, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, dude. It's all good.
It's very casual. Volleyball is just supposed to bring out your most authentic self. Like that's what pursuing your passions is about. And if your most authentic self is like, hey man, my game speaks for itself. I'm cool as a cucumber. And if my game is I'm a fucking animal that will rip your jugular out, also cool. Whatever is your authentic self.
Have you always been that way?
Like a yeller?
Old Yeller? You talking about Old Yeller over here? No, I just mean, hey, can I give you an example? I'm projecting a little bit. Like when
you're projecting.
Let me tell you. So when I was a kid, I remember I was super competitive, like really, really competitive. I'll never forget when I was 12 years old.
Now?
No. Let me finish. Okay. No. But we're getting there. Yes. No, we're getting there. So when I was 12, I remember the last time I was like super into soccer, playing a bunch, super competitive. I was playing ping pong against my mom and she finally beat me and I was so mad I fucking threw the paddle at her. And I'll never forget that day. And I was sent to my room and I sat on my hands in anger. But I'll never forget that day. I didn't sit on my hands. Who knows? She probably spanked me, honestly. I was probably getting spanked. Who knows?
There we go. Okay.
And I'll never forget because that's the day I quit sports. I was like, I don't like what the competitive side of me brings out. And as someone who off the court is like, yes, for sure I'm competitive, but I'm like so much more than that. I'm like down with the silly goose time. I'm like also like you really curious. And so sometimes I felt like I don't like pursuing this thing that brings out a side of me that I don't like. And I think it took me a long time to learn how to channel that into a way that was healthy. And so that's why I was curious, as someone who seems similar in that way, like how do you manage that like really competitive side of you that like wants to win, and then also like we're playing ping pong together and like who fucking cares, but we're being competitive, you know? Like how do you manage that?
So I'm really actually only very competitive when it comes to myself. I think that's where I'm the most competitive, is if I'm not doing well, like if I'm playing poorly and then we are losing, I am pissed and I'm angry. But I have it programmed in my brain to be like, okay, I'm playing shitty. We lost. I'm mad and because I'm competitive, but okay, what can I learn? How can I grow from this? Like my immediate reaction is already like, okay, how can I upgrade? Because in everything else in my life, like I avoid competitions because I am exactly like you. Like I fucking hate board games, dog. My whole family, my boyfriend loves a good board game night. And I'm like, why would you subject yourself to the act of going into a competitive battle where, first of all, it's mostly luck. Like you can't really strategize some of these board games here. It's like luck
debatable, but okay.
No, I fucking hate board games. I'm so competitive and they just make me so mad. And so I am like you. I kind of just avoid it because I'm either going to be that asshole that's like, whatever, I don't even care that you're winning. I'm like, whatever. Like I avoid it, or I just pretend that it doesn't bother me when really I'm fuming inside.
Whoa.
And then volleyball wise, I just focus on me.
Yeah,
That
and
was a
I
long
feel
answer.
no, it's true. I mean, I think in volleyball, especially, I'm the same. Well, I guess what I was trying to get at too is like that development took me so
Yeah,
long to
I'm
figure out
sure.
like my secret sauce, to and here's what I was gonna say earlier too is like I'll never forget also when I was playing in Chaumont, this was like probably 5 years ago, and had one of the best seasons I've ever had. And I felt like I had played in Italy for the first 3 years, and basically Italy and Poland's like, let's call it the NBA for men's, and then France is like the G League. It's like trying to get into the NBA. And so I went from 3 years in the NBA to now I'm going to the G League. That's how I saw it in my mind. And I was like, fuck all these other middles. Like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. I'm going back to Italy. I'm going to Poland. Like, that's what's happening. And I remember it was the first year that I was more externally a shit talker and also internally like every game I picked someone to hate every game. And I'd never been that way. In fact,
Oh,
my idol in some way was Max Holt. And Max Holt is like the most chill dude of all
so
time.
chill,
Like
dude.
you're
Yeah.
never going to see him pop off on someone. He's just super chill. And I always loved that like, cool, calm confidence. I thought it was so cool. But I felt like at that time I needed this like get out of jail feeling, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting the fuck out of here. Um, I didn't like that I felt like that year specifically, I think it bled a little bit into me as a person in my life.
Mm.
Do you like get any of that at all? Do you ever feel like sometimes you have like something similar? Like,
Yeah. When I find myself fueled for competition through, yeah, like anger or picking someone to hate or like spite, I guess. Like when I find that my competitiveness is fueled by spite, that anger like leaches into other aspects of my life, and I find myself grasping for things to be mad at just in like my day-to-day life. And that was actually how my like last season in Italy went. Like I was burnt out post Olympics, and then they still wanted me to come out, and they gave me a shitty apartment and they gave me a shitty car, and they didn't really seem to care about me at all, and I just felt really disrespected. And so I was like, you know what, fuck this club, I'm still gonna ball out and show them that I don't give a fuck that they're treating me like shit. Like I'm still a baller, I deserve to be treated better, and I'm gonna show them just how great I can be to show them what they're fucking up. But I just found that anger really didn't do anything for me. Like it just leached into other areas of my life, and I found myself being angry about like the grocery store or driving to practice. And so I found that when I approach volleyball and competition with this air of like grace and gratitude, my competitive fire is better, and then my overall lifestyle is better.
hmm. That's great. I mean, and was there like a learning curve for you or like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I had to be miserable for like 8 months, not knowing that the anger was the problem. Like I had to sit in this discomfort, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I so miserable and so angry? Why am I not enjoying volleyball? Like
So what did you do to change it?
I had to get a reality check from Karch Karai, actually. Karch called me and was like, hey, you seem to be not your usual sparkly self. It was like, you seem to be a little bit angry all the time. And I was like, I am angry. I hate it here. I feel disrespected. Oh no. Okay. I was like, I hate it here. I feel disrespected, blah, 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 blah. And he was basically like, it just kind of sounds like your expectations were too high, and you just feel like people owe you something. And he's like, what can you be grateful for? How can you find grace? And he was the one that kind of put that in my, like, I guess, put it into perspective for me. And it took me a while to build that, to be grateful for, because I was still in the same shitty situation, still feeling disrespected, still feeling like I couldn't find joy. So it took me a while to learn how to feel grateful and to give myself grace and patience. But when I started having more gratitude and being grateful for like my health or a good cup of soup, people have cups of soup, like those little
Oh,
gratitude
yeah, they do. Welcome to Poland, baby. Every meal's a fucking cup of soup. No, I'm just
What I
kidding.
had for lunch today, actually, there's a cup of soup. It's delicious. Um, yeah, once I could do that, and reinforced the habit, I started to find that joy again. And my competitiveness came from wanting to just find light and to spark light and to speak life. And it wasn't out of spite anymore. It took time
I
though,
mean,
man. I'm telling you.
yo, I just am like, you're telling me that Karch Karai gives you like a hype speech and then that was it. Like, I don't, I don't know. I just feel like, to your point, it's so much easier to be stuck in that loop of like life is against me, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not saying like Karch gave me that hype speech and then the next day everything was magical and sunshine and rainbows.
Like, what
I mean,
things
like,
do you do daily to like continue to work on that? Like, do you have little routines or anything you do that are
well,
helpful?
lately, so I've been really trying to prioritize one myself. Just this past, like, just at this tournament, I've been trying to build habits that prioritize me. So, like, sleeping and napping, I find that when I am well rested, my brain is so much happier. It's crazy how much sleep impacts your like ability to feel like a happy functioning human. So sleep has been huge, and then I've really been getting into meditating. I was really into meditation like a couple years ago, and actually that year leading up to the Olympics, I was really big into meditation. And after the Olympics, I was just so burnt out, and I just lost that habit. Like I was just like it felt like more of a burden than it was helping me. And I don't know why I ever stepped away from it because I'm back to meditating now daily, even if it's just for 3 minutes. Like I'll go from 3 minutes to 45 minutes of just sitting in meditative thought. And
Do you
that
use an app
is,
or do you like just do it on your own?
I do it on my own. I use Tibetan Bowls, that playlist on Spotify, and I
Whoa.
like to listen
I don't know
to
that
like
one.
yeah, I like to listen to the vibrations and the radiating sounds, and it's just really nice. And I just breathe and sit. Yeah, man, I flow. And sometimes I think, like,
Yeah.
I know some people are like, you're supposed to clear your mind and not think at all. But sometimes I like to think through problems that I'm having, like thinking through playing with grace again. And like, it's crazy how just giving yourself permission to sit and be for 5 minutes will open up gratitude in your life. Like, just reinforcing my meditation habit has opened up pathways to show me things that I'm so grateful for. It's crazy. Like,
Hmm.
I don't realize it until I'm doing it. And I'm like, damn, life is good.
Yo,
Life's good.
for real, I feel that because this is my second year in Poland, and last year,
Oof, yeah.
the last couple years, I've gone kind of like in and out of, and I wouldn't call it depression, but just like trying to figure out like, do I still want to
A
do
funk.
this? Like, like just in and out of a lot of different things, and I think slowing down is so important now. And actually, to your point, like I just started getting in the habit, and I use Headspace right now because
Oh,
they're a
nice.
sponsor of
Yeah.
USA Volleyball, so we get it for free. And it's also pretty cheap for those who are listening. Like Headspace is awesome. I don't know if you used it, but that's what I use. Just like even 10 minutes every morning, like trying to be really consistent. And it's crazy. I'll do like, normally when I'm trying to like form a new habit that I know makes me feel good all the time, and I just always make an excuse for not having 10 minutes to do it. Like in the beginning, it's like I'll do it for a day and then like skip a couple and then do it. And maybe I'll hit like 3 or 4 in a row and I'll be like, oh, now it's working. Like now I can feel like, I take that, I'll be like even saunaing before I got in, like before we started doing this, like first of all, saunaing is the ultimate meditation because I'm just constantly thinking about life and death. You
Oh,
know,
damn. I mean, that's what meditation is for. It's a way to practice dying. That's what they say.
for
Who's they?
real, for sure. Scientists probably like
That's
Buddhist
fucking
scientists maybe.
Einstein.
Yeah, exactly. All of them are they. No, but I think sauna is a great example because meditation for me is just like being in the now, like focusing on what you're doing right now. And I also just like even sitting in the sauna, like came up with great ideas and thoughts and just like, and even those sometimes it's like the second I tell my mind to just shut up and I just exist, it's
Mm.
almost like this other version of me, this like other
Mm.
narrator, like, it's like, I'd love to picture just like Morgan Freeman, all of a sudden he just like pushes me aside and he opens a giant book and he's like, today in the life of Taylor, I give you this amazing idea. Do nothing with it for the next 3 years and wish you would.
Hey man, that's usually how it goes.
Terrible
You get an
Morgan
idea.
Freeman impression, by the way, but
No,
that is
I
me.
thought it was phenomenal.
It was
You got
terrible.
your voice a little raspy. I thought it was pretty good.
All right, word.
Good,
I'll
not
take it.
great. Good, not great. You can work on it.
Yeah. No, I think those types of habits are so important. And it's like, it gets to a point where when it's good, and then those things like some of those healthy habits maybe fade off or your brain begins to like rationalize why you don't need to meditate every day. You're feeling great. You're doing good. You're so
You feel
grateful.
good. That's where you got to meditate. That's where you have to meditate the most. When your
Mm,
brain's like, "Hey man, we're fine. We're mentally healthy.
mm,
Stop. That's the devil talking. Don't listen to
mm.
him."
Well, what else do you do? Like, let's take it more so like when you're overseas. Like, what's your like ideal like day off overseas, or like what do you got going on over there?
You're gonna be really disappointed. I'm a very boring person. Like a
Just to
lot
be
of
clear, I
people
don't care
are.
what you do. Okay, so I won't be disappointed.
I just like I overseas when we get a day off, I like to capitalize on the day off and just chill. Like I'm not really big on adventuring. Like I guess on a dream day off, I would love to go to the mountains. Like I love mountains and lakes, and Italy has some great ones. So like ideal day, I have like a lot of energy, I'm feeling good. I'll go to the mountains, I'll go to a lake, walk around a cute little city, get a cup of coffee. I like to journal, I like to read. So bringing a book with me, chilling at a cafe on the water is really nice. I'm also really big into video gaming, and this season I'm actually hoping to start a Twitch stream.
Let's fucking go, dude. Let's go.
Uh, it sounds super lame, but I'm actually like I just started getting into it this summer. A friend of mine
Lame to
recommended
who?
The
Not to me.
Witcher.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, I fucking love it. I
What do you
got the
twitch up? What are you trying to twitch up?
Witcher 3, and then God of War. God of War. I'm gonna
Okay.
buy that game and get that going. I'm like big into the kind of like the fantasy sword fighting games
Sick.
because I think they're so
Yo,
fun.
have you ever
And
narped? Is it narp? Narp?
I think you
Larp.
mean LARP, live action role play.
Yes.
NARP is such a jock.
I was thinking of
You're
narc.
such
I
a
don't know.
jock.
Not that they're at all related. Clearly not. Okay. Have you ever LARPed? You ever done any of that live action shit?
I have not done any LARPing. I think
No.
that's where I start to be like, a little weird, a little dorky. No judgment.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. That's
LARPing.
probably my first introduction to video games is gonna be LARPing. Be so about it.
I do like to go to the occasional Ren Fest though. Like I like to throw on a cute skirt and a corset and go to a Renaissance festival. That'll
Whoa.
be fun. That's fun.
Renaissance festival? Where?
What do you mean?
Hey, you talking about that medieval times or what, dude? You know about medieval times?
I do know about medieval times. Have I ever
Oh my
been?
God.
No. A tragedy. A tragedy that I've never
Wow.
been.
That is a
I know.
tragedy.
Nobody wants to go with me. I'm not gonna go by myself. I'm not gonna eat
Yo,
a
I would
jumbo
be
shrimp
so
like
down this next summer. Let's go. Let's
Let's
get a
do
crew to
it.
go. I would love that. In fact, because I haven't been since I was a kid. Like I haven't been really as an adult, but I would love to like drink beer out of a gauntlet or whatever.
Born, yeah,
A
or one of those like
goblet.
born things.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
chocolates.
Just want
Hell
to
yeah.
eat shit with my fucking hands.
Yeah, man. Yeah, all right. We need to do a medieval times date then. We
That
gotta
would
do.
be
We gotta get
tight.
a whole big crew.
Yo, I love that.
That's
I love
awesome.
that.
I'm definitely down.
Also, you
Sorry, we
mentioned
got
that
way off topic.
No, there's no topic. That's the entire podcast is off topic. Your mom did tell me that you did read a lot, that you like to read.
My mom told
No,
you this?
I'm just absolutely lying to you.
It's like, did you call Danielle?
But
How did
no,
you get
I'm just
Danielle's
kidding.
contact information?
But I know you do love to read, right? You've been reading since you
I
were like a kid.
I do love to read. I did learn how to read at like a regular age as a child. So yes, I've been reading since I was a kid.
What is that supposed to mean?
The way that you phrased it was like you've been reading since you were a kid. And I was like, well, kids read.
Can I be
It's
honest?
pretty-
I instantly regretted saying it right when it came out of my mouth. But that's how this works, baby. It's live. You got to roll with it. You know?
Just go, all right, well, you
Okay,
said
but-
something goofy, you're gonna get made fun of a little
But
bit.
here's
I'm
the
gonna tease you a
difference.
little bit.
Here's the difference, though. I'm not going to tease you. Here's the difference. You're a reader. You are a reader. That's the difference. I know you're a reader.
I
Me,
am.
I
am
also
a
learned
pretty
to read at the same age as you. I'm not a fucking reader, okay?
big- Okay, point made. Point made.
Thank you.
Debate point, Taylor. Okay. I am a big reader. I haven't been as into reading lately because, like I said, I found video games, so I've been pouring a lot of time into video gaming. But there's something just really nice about slowing down and reading a book. We have a girl on our team right now, Anna Stevenson, who is a bigger reader than me. We've been on this trip for 3 weeks and she's read 9 books already. Like she's just cruising through them. Yeah.
9?
But anyway, I'm a reader. I'm currently reading. I'm trying to finish this Barack Obama book that I have been reading forever. He's just talking about Israel a lot right now. And it's really interesting, but like foreign policy isn't that interesting to me. So I'm having a really tough time getting through this portion of the book. I'm also reading Parable of the Sower, which is like a dystopian novel based in 2024. And it's
Sick.
shockingly accurate to how we are right now. It's a little scary.
Whoa.
So I'm struggling to read this one because it's a little too applicable. And then I'm also reading You Are Your Best Thing by Brene Brown. And
How when okay, first of all, when you say you're reading those, like how are you reading multiple books at the same time?
it's like watching different TV shows. You
That's
can watch
crazy. Dude, if I read a book that has more than 3 characters and they're from like different villages, I have to read that. I have to read some of that book every day or I'll forget who they are.
you forget everything. I mean,
Everything.
yeah, that happens. Like my Barack Obama book has a lot of moving parts. So sometimes I have to, backtrack and remember who's who.
I guess it helps now that I hear it that they're so different, that they are like different worlds, you know? One is
Yes,
the real world and one is like a dystopian world.
definitely. I struggle to read similar genres at the same time. Like I wouldn't read like their eyes were watching God and The Color Purple at the same time. Like that would be ridiculous. That those are just the same genre of book. I realize now that was a stupid sentence.
That's a great sentence, dude. It just went like this. It went like this through my brain.
Like I wouldn't read Game of Thrones and A Knight's Tale. That's not a book; it's a movie. I can't think of a
such a good movie. Yo, that dude is so hot. What's his name?
Flick. Heath Ledger, dude.
Oh yes, Heath Ledger. Yo, he's priming out in that movie.
That is one of his greatest films. 100%. It's just Rocky, but in LARPing like scenarios. Like it's basically Rocky.
Let's have a little respect. They're not LARPing, okay? Those are real horses and real sticks that cause real damage. You know, real trauma, maybe even.
It's called a lance and not a stick. Hello.
A lance. Well, what is that called? What is that like combat sport even called? It's like horses that run at each other with those giant sticks. What is it called?
Jousting.
Yeah, but there's got to be a better name than jousting.
No, it's what it's called, jousting.
Look at me, dude. I'm like, jousting is when the ball is tight and me and an opponent go.
No, that's where the term comes from because you're on different sides of, and you're it's jousting. Yeah, I'm not shitting.
Wow, that's sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's where the origin of jousting came from.
Because like horse. In jousting, they have a fence that they are on opposite sides of, and then they push into each other. And so in volleyball, you have the net that you're on opposite sides of, and you're pushing into each other. Jousting.
That's sick. Yeah, no, thank you. That definitely explains it. I got it.
I completely made that up. I have no idea if that's it, but it sounded good.
It sounded good. Yeah, I'm just so easily convinced by anything you tell me also. So that's great. That's a good combination. Also, I think I was going to say something earlier. You mentioned something about witchcraft and you said it was a very serious face. And now I'm like insanely curious. Like, let's go deep into the witches world.
Yeah.
What's up with witchcraft? What were you talking about?
So a little over 2 years ago. Yeah, a little over 2 years ago, I was like, I think I feel like being a witch now. And so I started doing some research. I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a witch? Like what would that look like? Because you think witch, you think like brooms, sticks, and knobby noses. But there's an entire there are entire communities and entire religions based around witchcraft. And I wouldn't say that I'm a big practicing witch. I'm not a part of anything formal like a coven.
Whoa.
But
sick new terminology.
Sick new terminology. No, I'm definitely I'm a solo practicing witch. I'm a solitary witch. And I would say I'm kind of an eclectic witch. Like they have different kinds. There's like a green witch, you have a kitchen witch, divination witches, and all of those witches just specialize in different things. And I would say I'm an eclectic witch because I pick from little pockets of each. So I'm really into like holistic and herbal medicine and like herbal remedies and like creating teas and tinctures. So I have like all these herbs overseas that I use.
Before we even go into this is so fucking cool. Like every time you say witch, I think of a woman on a fucking broom. Like help me break away from the definition of witch that I and probably most people have in their heads and explain it in a way that maybe makes it understandable for what you're trying to say.
For sure. So essentially a modern day witch. Oh my gosh, there's so much history behind it. So a modern day witch is basically someone that believes in the power of their own conscious thought, manifestation, and a collaboration with the universe and energies.
Sure. Okay.
That was a phenomenal definition. That was a great definition.
That was amazing. Yeah.
I'm impressed. I can't believe I said that.
No, huge surprise. We all know you've read the encyclopedia. Okay, sick.
Oh God. But basically, like, a modern day witch is just someone that uses nature and the environment around her to better her life. And like there's all kinds of different levels to it. Like there's manifestation, there's you can make offerings. There are people that adhere to different gods and goddesses, but basically it's just finding power within yourself, which is why witches are so part of most feminist movements, because it's very much about autonomy and empowerment for yourself and using that to elevate your conscious existence and life. I'd say that, but I'm also a baby witch. Like more well-versed witches could probably give you a better definition.
To me, then a witch is just someone who's like super in tune with what's up, like what's up inside them, what's going on in the environment, and they feel this like, or they're more in tune with this like God that has no definition, like this real sense of universe.
Yeah. I think witches in a modern day sense just recognize that everything has an energy to it, and they learn how to utilize and harness those energies for their own benefit, whatever that benefit may be. So there are all kinds of like, there's different like magic that you can do. I don't really love all of the terms. Like some of them sound a little like using the word magic feels a little hokey. That's what we have. That's what we're working with. But like
you also said offerings, like do they always include like animals or like
no, offerings could be anything from like a cup of water or like coins or like feathers, and it's just like an acknowledgement to anything. Like you can pick a god, a goddess, you can give it to the wind, you can give offerings to the universe, you can give offerings to your ancestors. That's what I'm getting really into, is like the ancestor side of thing, and like speaking to like the women and men that came before me and got me to where I am. So yeah, you can make offerings to all kinds of things. And then like magic is doing things like knowing that mullein leaf is really good for your lungs, and it's an expectorant that helps like get mucus and stuff out, but it also has magical properties when it comes to like calm and balance. So if you're trying to heal your lungs,
I'm doing my best to like not define it all, but like really to understand. That's what we do as humans, like trying to continue to understand by defining things. And I'm just like, it almost sounds like a more intense and I don't want to say intuitive, but like a really intense prayer of some kind. Like if you were like a Christian and you like pray to God, it sounds more like you're not religious in any way, but you're like, you want this thing to happen so much that you like channel these energies, and then you physically maybe make something and offer it. Like that whole experience, I can imagine, is so powerful.
Yeah, 1000%. So it's very much like some of the rituals that you find yourself doing are a lot like prayers. Like you're concentrating your energy, you're devoting your energy. But on the more scientific side of things, like it's been proven that when you say affirmations and you focus your mind on goals and focus your mind on things that you want to achieve, your consciousness naturally shifts to more positive outlooks, to finding ways to problem solve, to figuring out how you want to achieve those goals. And so witchcraft is just kind of a roundabout way of doing that. So like, let's say I'm in a really stressful time. So I burn some white sage and lavender incense, because I know lavender has magical properties of like peace and calm. And I'm focusing on peace and calm because I know that I'm stressed. The lavender incense probably isn't going to do all that much, but the fact that my conscious mind is thinking, okay, I want to calm down, I have this tangible thing in the lavender incense to help me think about being calm, then your mind starts to do it. It's like any religion. You're tricking your brain into
100%.
getting you to where you want to go. And this is just a religion that I happen to be okay with being tricked into.
I think that's so cool, like so cool. And I'm so happy you said that, because like, you know, it's the biggest thing. I've always said this. Like I just had Ben Patch on the podcast a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And like, we were talking a little about that too, where it's like, for me, like, I haven't chosen a religion, you know, like but it's like, I feel like there's such benefit in like, you call it tricking your brain into believing something, because once you do, it's like you're actually praying for something to happen, and you're fully embodying that person is hearing you and going to help make that happen. Like there's such benefit to that. And I think for myself, as someone who's not religious, it's always been like, damn, you know, like, why can't I just believe in something like that? And then I could get the benefits of that too. And what I like about, who knows, maybe daddy will join you. Come do some witchcraft. It sounds fucking sick, honestly. Because witchcraft, when you first said it, I thought of I'll never forget. I thought of fourth grade, Harry Potter. We were supposed to read the book or watch the movie as a class. My parents were against it because I grew up in a Christian home, and my parents would not let me because they said there was witchcraft. That was like a big problem in the Christian community, was this witchcraft. Now we know actually witchcraft and prayer are like pretty much the same thing, dude. I hope a lot of people learn a lot from this. That's what I'll tell you right now.
1000%. No, and I think like I'm also not like a crazy, like I'm not crazy religious when it comes to this. Like actually, not to dive too deep.
You're a chill ass witch, dude, for sure.
I'm just chill ass witch, but like not to dive too deep. 2 weeks ago, I would argue like for me, God, my conventional understanding of God died. Like I always believed that there was a God or some type of higher power, or I believed in some form or another that the Christian God that I grew up with was like, okay, there's a possibility that they are a thing. But then like about 2 weeks ago, something just in my brain just like clicked, and I was like, I don't believe in that anymore. That's not it. But I still believe in there's some higher power. So as much as I'm into this witchcraft, I'm still exploring my spirituality and like where I stand religious wise, because I think a lot of people in our generation would agree the term religion is very off-putting nowadays, because for so long religion has been a way to ostracize and isolate people. And I think that we're just finding new ways to find our spirituality, and it's okay to explore a little bit. So if you want to try witchcraft out, welcome, but there's a lot, you're going to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I already do that, so it actually sounds like a nightmare for me. The last thing I knew is more things to be curious about. No, but I think that's really cool, and I think you're totally right. And it almost sounds like religion gets a bad rap in the same way, you talk about witchcraft, instantly people think of like, I don't know, like ancient times maybe, or like a woman in the woods,
There's a whole history behind why that was a thing. Like when you study witchcraft, there's a whole history of the persecution of witches and how it was pretty much just the patriarchy and anti-feminist movements that were trying to just get rid of women that were trying to empower themselves. So there's a whole feminist side to witchcraft too that is just fucking baller, dog.
Dude, I could imagine that was fucked. Anytime I watched like a Game of Thrones, or which I never finished, but like anytime I watch like a Game of Thrones, like most books, I also don't finish them. It's fine. Or like I'm trying to think of like another. I just watched another one, like some Viking show. I watched with my girlfriend. Whatever, some Viking show. Anytime you see, it's just like, dude, women had it way different. Like how fucked. And then to your point, it's like, oh, this woman's like is speaking like she has a conscience and like she has a choice and ideas, and like she must be a witch. Let's fucking burn her. Like that's what they were doing. Like that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking nuts. And what's even crazier is that it wasn't always like, oh, she's probably a witch. It's like this woman is trying to overstep her bounds. Let's just call her a witch so we have a good reason to kill her. But she's probably not a witch. She's probably just right. And we don't want to hear her talk. So we call her a witch so we have a reason to kill her, and then we'll kill her. Like it's not even that they were so dumb that they were like, oh, she's a witch. It's like, no, they knew that she was
sure right. They knew. Yeah.
And so they just needed something to pin it on. Just call them crazy.
Yo, it's seriously that is fucking nuts. And you know what? So then is that like it's almost like it's like bringing, how can I say this? Like taking a word that used to be used as like, in some way it sounds like a derogatory term towards women, and now just being like, we're fucking witches, what up,
Yeah.
Or are they like, you're exactly, much
we're
better
rebranding.
You're rebranding, dude. I love that. I think that's so amazing. And I also, so there's one thing I wanted to bring up, because and throughout this whole conversation, you were just clearly like someone who is so authentically you. And let me tell you, I honestly already appreciate this so much. Like it's such a refreshing thing for me to get to speak with people who like are just fun and silly and like are themselves and can talk about anything. Like for me, it's awesome because I've met a lot of volleyball players in my life. And as much as I love the volleyball community, a lot of people are just, I don't know, kind of the same and boring and dull. And like, you're fucking exciting and awesome. Okay, so this is a question my producer brought up, so I'm going to ask it. I don't know why I shouldn't have to say that, but I feel like it's such a new thing for me, is helping me introduce. Okay, you came out as bisexual on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, you followed up on Instagram by saying, I'm not trying to talk about my sexuality because I want to be because I want to be brave or a trailblazer. I talk about sexuality because I want to be myself.
Yeah.
If there are things that are holding you back from being your most authentic self, I hope you find a way to combat that and just be you. Uh, Look, I also, like, even when I had Ben on here, like, I don't the whole like talking this your sexuality, I could care less. Like, I don't care at all.
Yeah.
What I am just when she had sent me this, what I loved so much, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is because for people who for some people that is a struggle. Like for me, who's just like, like a average like California like white dude. To me, I'm like who is like so open minded. I'm just like, what's the fucking big deal with like coming out or being gay or being this? Like, who fucking cares? But what I fail to realize as someone who's not that and put in a minority group sexually, let's say, I wanted to know from you, like, I can imagine then it is tough. And that's why it's a big deal for people who come out and for people who feel like they can't really be themselves. And so, like, I really want to know from you, like, how did that affect your life? Like, was it really something that was like, you felt like you just couldn't be yourself until you finally made the decision to, like, I'm just going to be a witch. And part of my witch is do what I'm just kidding.
Do what I want. Honestly, I had no intention of coming out. I was like, I don't really care. Like I'm wholly myself, whether people know that I like eating pussy or not. Like it's really not gonna change anything. And like the only reason, that I ended up coming out was because I posted a joke onto Twitter. I was like, I don't cuff my pants because I'm really tall. I cuff my pants because I'm bisexual and want to find bitches. Like it was just a joke. Like it was
Dude, I fucking love you. I can't believe this is like our first conversation. I'm so sorry. Keep going.
I didn't even mean it to like that be a way of coming out. Like I just thought it was a joke. And then the fucking internet exploded over it. Everybody was like, Haleigh Washington comes out over Twitter. My dad texted me and he was like, I just saw your tweet. You're bisexual? And I was like, yeah, Dad, cat's out of the bag. I like eating pussy as much as you like eating pussy.
Your parents didn't know?
Neither because again, I was like, my brother doesn't have to come out and tell you that he's straight. Why do I have to come out and tell you that I'm bi? Like, why is it such a big deal? Like, you don't care if, like, it doesn't matter. So I came out and I really just did it because it was a joke. Like, I didn't really feel that I was living a lie. And I think that first of all, there are so many more people that when they come out meet such a more negative response. And that just breaks my heart. Like that there are people that come out and don't have a support system. That crushes me. That there are people that don't come out and feel like they are trapped and like living a lie. Like that crushes me. And I don't want to preach on here like, just come out, you'll feel better, because that might not be the case. Like you might everybody has their own different path to finding their most authentic self. And for some people, it might be, I don't want to come out. I don't need to tell people. I don't want to tell people. And if that's the case, that's fine. And if it's not fine, I'm talking about coming out. All right. If you could be a little more respectful.
We're talking about eating pussy and coming out. Knock it off.
We're having a serious conversation. Okay. But yeah, I think it's just finding your most authentic self is a privilege. Like being able to find who you are is a very privileged thing. And I recognize that. And being able to come out in the way that I came out was a very privileged thing. And I recognize that. And I guess the only thing that I would want to say would be your most authentic self, but recognize that the adversity is what the adversity is. And it's going to shape you. It's going to form you. And that's okay. And then also when I came out, I was very lucky. I had a very positive response. Most people didn't care. The biggest issue I had was with my mom, who really struggles with her understanding of homosexuality. Like I would argue my mom is a little bit more on the homophobic side of things. And no fault of her own. She grew up in the Christian church. She grew up.
Were you raised Christian?
Hell yeah. So when I was in 6th grade and I started to find girls cute, I would pray to God and I was like, God, can you please stop making me find women cute? Because I know it's a sin and I know it's wrong. And in 9th grade, I had a crush on my volleyball coach. And I was like, this is so wrong. 1, she's my volleyball coach. And 2, she's a she. Like, I can't have these feelings. This is so wrong. And like, so the shame and the religious like guilt that I felt, like, I remember really struggling with it and going to bed at night, like in tears because I felt this way. And really the shift was in college. Because I dealt with it all through high school, trying to suppress it and push it down and not deal with it. And then I went to college and I was like, fuck it, man. I am what I am. I like both. I like men. I like women. Who cares? And I just saying fuck it and just stop, like, no longer allowing religious shame to dictate my life was the most freeing thing. And then, sorry to keep this answer really long, but and then the reverse side of things, once I came out and like was telling people like, yeah, I like both, the amount of times that everyone's like, well, how many women have you been with? Are you actually bi? How many times have you kissed a girl? How many times have you slept with a girl? You're not bi enough. You're not gay enough to be bi. Like, you still date men, so you're not actually. So there's also that side of things that you.
Whoa, from the gay community that was like,
Yeah.
Is she gay enough to join us?
Yeah, 1000%. Or even like my hetero friends who were like, are you actually gay? Or are you just saying it for attention? Like, there's all, and it comes back down to, it's none of your goddamn business. Uh-oh.
Right.
And that's what matters. Isn't that right, Sauce? It's none of your fucking business. I don't care what you like. You shouldn't care what I like. You do what you do.
What if there's one kid listening to this, or one girl, or one dude who's just like, I really feel like I want to come out, but like I'm so afraid. Okay, maybe I just won't, but I really want to. Like, making that decision, like you said, like hopefully you will just feel like it's the right decision to do or not. But I can imagine most people want to and are afraid to for whatever circumstances. Like,
I think my biggest piece of advice is never make a decision out of fear. Whatever your conclusion is, wherever you reach, whether that's deciding to come out or not come out, don't let fear be the reason that you are making X decision. So if you're like, I'm gonna come out because I want to, that's a great reason to come out. You want to come out. But if you're like, I'm gonna come out, but I'm afraid that the gay community isn't gonna like I don't want to come out because I'm afraid that of this, or I'm afraid of that, so I'm just not gonna, like, don't let fear be the influencer. Never do anything in your life based on fear, especially when it comes to coming out and being your most authentic self. I think that's my best piece of advice.
Hell yeah. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like we talked about privilege, and I was like, damn, I was so lucky. I was saying this well, I'm dealing with a lot of things just for my own personal life right now. And like, one of those was the fact that like I didn't grow up with any trauma. I grew up in a Christian home with even now, like, amazing parents who have been married for 35 years. We were just a classic middle class family. Like, I had a job, I had stuff. Like, it's not that I didn't have any like struggles. I made my own money, I did that kind of thing. But like nothing that serious, And I don't remember exactly where I was trying to go there, but the point is, I think it's just
wanted to showboat a little bit to the queer Black woman. You were like, I didn't have any trauma growing up. You just wanted to humble brag.
Exactly,
okay, cool.
Exactly. Just in case we didn't look different enough, let me explain it to you, okay? No, I think the point I was gonna make is like, to your point, it's like, what I was trying to say is that when I was a kid, it's like, how lucky am I to get to make all my decisions out of love? I'm gonna do what I want today. I'm gonna play volleyball. That's why I started playing, because I loved it. And I told this last podcast too. It's like, I was in high school. I didn't think of going D1. I just loved volleyball. Oh, now they want me to go play D1. Sick. I'll go there, get kicked off of 2 teams, come back. I'll keep playing volleyball because I love it. And then, oh, now I'm good enough. Like, now I want to play pro. Sweet, because I love it. And now the national team wants me. Sweet, I love it. And then I got older, and then it's like, volleyball is starting to feel like maybe it's not enough. I need other things. This has been a great resource, but like I need other things. And now it's like, oh, should I not do this out of fear? Should I make this podcast something where like maybe we don't swear as much? So like if kids are listening, do I make something like, now all of a sudden there's all these different directions to go in my life. And I think that it even hits home for me, honestly, where it's just like, oh yeah, don't fucking lose yourself, and continue to stay in a lane of like, yeah, don't go back to serve, and like, don't make a decision out of fear. Make a mistake out of being like, I'm gonna fucking nail this chick right in her titty or something, like, I don't know, right in the forehead, like whatever, dude. Like,
yeah.
I think that's so powerful. And even hearing it from you, like, got me all hyped up, because it's like, it's so much easier to make decisions out of fear in your life.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's in
1000%.
relationships, whether it's in what you do in your life, like, so even just hearing you say that, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, like, you're totally right.
Hell yeah.
It's just it's so much easier to go the other way,
Yeah, well, that's why people do that. It's easy to go that way. It's so like, it's easy to live life in fear. It's a lot easier, trust me, to be afraid. It's a lot easier to just do the easy thing. That makes no sense. It's a lot easier to do the easy thing. I'm stupid. I'm speaking in circles. But what I'm saying is, like, living life bravely and boldly is not only hard, but it's also fucking scary, because it doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It doesn't mean that that fear just goes away because you're deciding to make decisions like out of bravery. Like, you're still scared shitless, but you're doing what's right and you're not letting that fear impact you. And that's why it's hard. That's what she said.
So good. We're gonna end it literally on that. That's so good. And I was also gonna say, like, it's also nice when you can like be surrounded by like badass chicks. And honestly, I know a couple women on the national team specifically. Kelsey Robinson was one of them. Came earlier. I fucking love that girl. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's another just like bad witch to jump on her back and go for a little fucking broomstick ride. You know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. Okay, dude, this was so awesome. I really appreciate your time. Good luck also for the rest of the tournament. I'll be watching. I'm actually gonna watch now that we have this. It's like I want to watch fucking women's volleyball. You know.
Now you're motivated.
I know I'm motivated to watch it. Remotivated. Okay, Haleigh, this is your chance to just like, how can people follow your journey? Your Twitch isn't up, but it sounds like it's coming. Just like hit 'em with whatever. Be on the lookout. Dude. Yeah.
Honestly, I am really bad at social media. I am not good at posting on Instagram. I don't use my TikTok. I really haven't been on Twitter very much. So if you want to follow my journey, please just message me or find me and talk to me. Come up and chat. Come say hi. If I'm ever at a camp, come say hello. I'll try to be better on social media, especially when I'm overseas, because I have more time to devote to it. But for the most part, if you have my number, text me. If you find me on Instagram, DM me. If you see me out in public, come say hello.
Yo, you're the best, for real. Yeah. Okay, sick. I really, really appreciate your time. Good luck in the rest of this tournament. This was fucking amazing. And I'm not kidding. I hope this kindles a little bit of a friendship. Like, I'm for real. Like, it's so hard to meet people who are just like so just themselves and open-minded, and just like, this was super fun for me. So
yeah, I'm glad we got to chat. I hope that this is the start of a beautiful friendship. At minimum, we're going to medieval times together. I'm not going to forget that.
I guarantee medieval times. And you know what? I got a PlayStation 4 that came with this house, and I don't normally play video games, but now I'm kind of like, give me another thing to be addicted to. That's what I need in my life. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, more addictions, baby.
Hell yeah, bring them. All right,
Well,
you're the best. Thank you so much.